Hey there, kiddos. This is Mr. Brown. Just wanted to kind of give you some updates as to what's coming up next week, the week of April the 13th. Couple things to just address with you. First and foremost, there was a message that was sent out. Tomorrow is a school holiday, so you're not required to submit any work or really do any work tomorrow if you don't choose to. The assignment that was going to be due tomorrow, we can kind of look at it real quick. Unit 2 Networks of Exchange. Originally, that was going to be due tomorrow. Now that due date is being moved to next Tuesday, April the 14th. So you've got a little bit of time, but make sure you get it done. It is for a grade. Next week, the assignment is the Unit 1 and 2 DBQSA. This is going to be for a major test grade, your final major test grade of the 6 weeks. That is going to be due next Friday, April the 17th. More on that here in a minute. Couple real basic things, if my internet would cooperate with me, which I don't know about you guys, but internet's been pretty spotty lately. There we go. First and foremost, just want to go over a message from our administration at CTHS. Students, you must log into your school email account and start working on your assignments for all of your teachers and turn in your work. You will not receive credit, and if you are a senior, you will not graduate. The end of the fifth 6 weeks is next Friday, April the 17th. Just kind of break it down. The first couple weeks of this distance learning was more about getting everybody used to the process. At this point, we're deep into it, and you need to be doing your assignments. And I will tell you, from my point of view, the things that I'm sending you, especially for an AP class, are pretty darn easy. You're watching some videos, you're taking some notes. On the Unit 2 assignment, you had a small bit of document analysis, but that's pretty much it. So make sure that you're doing your work. This stuff is for a grade. And frankly, because of the just unusual, weird situation that we're all going through right now, we're not going to have that many grades this 6 weeks. So make sure everything that needs to get done gets done. That also includes the stuff from before spring break. Before spring break, we had 3 grades. We had the DBQSA over the railroads and imperialism. That was a test grade. We had the World War I document analysis, where you read the primary source docs and just answered some questions to the best of your ability. We also had the World War I SAQ. I know some of you guys that had missed those or hadn't turned them in or whatever have contacted me. And I told you, at the beginning of this whole thing, just not to worry about it for the time being. Well, now we're getting towards the end of the 6 weeks. You do need to get that stuff done. Let me show you where that is located real quick, and then we'll get on to next week's assignment. From the home page, if you go to Files, you're going to go down to Distance Learning. All of your assignments that we're going to be doing, really moving forward, in all likelihood, are going to be in this location. So you go Distance Learning, and you will see Makeup Work. Now, let me be clear. This is only if you didn't turn in or you were absent and didn't get it done before spring break. But the real thing is, we're not going to have that many grades. We're probably going to end up with 3 or 4 daily grades and 2 test grades. So it means everything that you're doing is more valuable than usual because there's just not that much of it. So if you didn't get this done, again, it's all here for you. Downloading it, you can type it up in a Word document or directly into an email and send it to me. But please get it in as soon as you can, definitely before next Friday, as it is the end of the 6 weeks. So for next week, in light of what's going on with the AP exam, let me kind of scroll down a little bit. You should be aware by now that the AP exam this year is going to be at home. It's going to be online, and it has all been kind of narrowed down to one DBQ essay on which you will be given 45 minutes. DBQ essays, we've done a couple of them. We've talked about it. We've done a lot of document analysis throughout the year. I am confident if you put forth the effort and really prepare for this thing, you guys will be fine. It's a little bit different than what we've done already. The time is a little bit shorter, down from an hour to 45 minutes. But on the flip side, you've got only 5 documents to deal with as opposed to 7. We're going to be doing some stuff with DBQs moving forward. Again, we're going to have a kind of modified DBQ essay for next week that is going to be for a test grade, your last test grade for the 6 weeks. And we'll be doing some DBQ related stuff definitely as we move forward to get you ready for the AP exam. The AP exam, just in case you hadn't seen, is going to be Thursday, May the 21st at 1 p.m. There are some situations where there could be extenuating circumstances to where there may be some later dates offered, but if at all possible, you need to try to make it and complete it on this particular date. For more information about that, there is a link to the College Board website that goes a little bit more into what the DBQ is going to be like this year, but we're going to go over that ourselves. So let's navigate to the Files tab. Go down once again to Distance Learning. Pretty much everything that I've done on here, I've put 2 versions of. We've got a Word version that you can go in and type in and manipulate as you see fit. We've also got a PDF version. From my understanding, the PDF version does work better on some tablets and especially phones if you're accessing it from that. So just kind of keep that in mind. If one doesn't work, try the other. And if for some reason you can't get either to work, please email me and we'll figure it out. But the first thing I want to look for is right here, the 2020 College Board DBQ rubric, which my internet's slow right now, so I'm not going to try to download, but, we're just going to go straight to it. It's pretty much the same as it has been before. As far as the sort of things that you're earning points for, it's the exact same. But those particular categories have been expanded a little bit. Now, I'm not going to go over every single thing on here word for word. You can read over this for yourself. I highly encourage you to do so. But I do want to hit the high points, and I do want to just very briefly discuss some of the things that are very similar to what we've done in the past and things that I think that you should have a pretty easy time adapting to. So first 2 categories are the exact same. You've got your thesis statement, your central claim, you've got contextualization. First, kind of out of order, let's talk with context. I think it works best if you start off by kind of painting a picture of what the world's like in this particular time period, in this particular place, kind of leading into your thesis statement. This is your introduction. Again, you've got to kind of, put the reader into this particular point in history, into this scenario. 3, 4, maybe 5 sentences going into some specific detail as to what this period was like, what this area was like, what sort of things contributed to what you're writing about. That can go a long way. Again, you got to be specific. Do not be too vague. If you got some vocabulary you can throw in there that makes sense to put there, by all means, please do it. So you start off with your context, and then ideally you close out that introductory paragraph with your thesis statement. First and foremost, this is not in the DBQ coming from the top of your head. You are going to base your thesis, the argument that your essay is trying to prove is correct, based on what the documents give you. Again, the whole idea of the DBQ essay is you're using the documents as evidence to prove that your argument is correct. So really you can't even start to come up with this until after you've reviewed the documents, but hopefully through your reading of the documents you see some things that are going on, some trends, some things that some documents have in common, and you can kind of craft a thesis, a core argument based on that. Again, you want to be relatively specific. We're going to go over this here in a second when I actually show you the DBQ you're going to be writing. But thesis statement, again, that is the point that you're trying to drive home, And once you state it in the first paragraph, or at the end, you can do it in both places. Honestly, you're going to spend the rest of your paper trying to prove that your thesis was correct. Once you get past these two categories, though, this is when it starts to change a little bit. It's the same basic things that you've already been doing, but you can earn the points in expanded ways. Evidence. This is using the documents to prove that your thesis is correct. This first point is ridiculously easy to get. You use the content of at least two documents to address the topic of the prompt. So essentially summarize the documents. Explain them. Try to tie it to your thesis statement. Try to tie it to the prompt that you're writing about. If you do that, this 1 point is almost automatic. Again, it's just two documents. Just keep in mind, though, it says here to earn 1 point, the responses must accurately describe, rather than simply quote, the content from at least two of the documents. Guys, don't quote. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of energy. You don't get anything out of it. It's not going to earn you anything. The readers, they want to see that you understand what the document's saying. You understand why it is historically significant. You understand how it kind of fits into this ultimate essay prompt, this argument that you're trying to craft. Just quoting the documents, it's not a skill, it is copying. So don't waste your time with it. I really recommend just summarize the documents. You are using the documents to prove that your point is correct. If you can just summarize the documents and it makes sense and it ties back to your thesis, you get 1 point. If you can truly use these documents, though, to prove that your point is correct, you get 2 points. Again, you're probably going to be doing this anyway. This is almost automatic in your summary of the documents, but just make sure that how you are summarizing them is kind of proven that your argument is correct. If you can do this for 2 documents, man, there's 2 points right there. If you can do it for 4 documents, well, then you get all 3 points of the evidence category. Now, keep in mind, under this new format, you've got 5 documents to work with. So theoretically, you could leave 1 out entirely and still get full points. I would advise you try to use all 5. If time is getting away from you, then yeah, or you don't really understand how to use a certain document. I get that. But if you completely misinterpret 1 document and you only do 4, you're not going to be eligible for all the points. So if you have the time, if you have the ability, by all means, please use all the documents. But again, you've got to kind of judge that based on the situation when you're actually writing this essay. Next point category is evidence beyond the documents. These are facts. These are ideas. These are pertinent information, things that you know about this overarching subject and time period that would fit into this essay that don't show up in the documents anywhere. If you can bring up some additional evidence at least once, you get 1 point. If you can come up with another piece of evidence, you could theoretically get 2 points. Just keep in mind, don't name drop. If you bring something up, hopefully a specific person, place, thing, some vocabulary, and you fully explain it, you're good. But if you just throw a name out there or if it's too vague, you're not going to get the points. So try to be as specific as possible. Again, all that vocab that you guys hated, there was a reason for it, okay? You can bring this stuff up in your essays, and if you explain it and you use it correctly, man, there's points there to be had. So again, it's the same basic premise as before, but you have one more opportunity to get a point for it. Scrolling down to our last category. This first point is capping a document. Okay, for 1 document, explain how or why the document's point of view, purpose, historical situation, and or audience is relevant to an argument. You take a document, and basically you're just identifying and explaining how some of those things may shape, may alter, may influence what the document actually says. Point of view, who's saying this? Okay, this is not first person, third person, that's English class. Here you're looking at who this person is, where they come from, what they believe, and who that person is may kind of shape what they're saying or what they're not saying. The purpose, why are they writing it? What are they trying to achieve? What are their ulterior motives, those are the sort of things that you need to bring up. Historical situation is just a nice way of saying context. What's going on when this document was being written, being created? What's the historical backdrop and how might that impact what's being said? And also audience. Based on who you're gearing a certain document towards, may kind of change how you present information. Again, a lot of this is your opinion. Just make sure you identify and explain why these things are significant. Hey, the context of the document is this. This is how it shapes the document. This is how it influences what's being said. Again, 2-3 sentences. Again, it's your opinion. They want to see that you're drawing conclusions. Now, under the old format, you could only get really 1 point for this. You had to do it 3 times, though. Here, you only got to do it 1 time. That's pretty awesome. If you do it a second time for a second document, it does need to be on a separate document, a separate document, excuse me, you can get an extra point. So again, it's a skill that you already know how to do, that you can do. It's just been expanded a bit in this new rubric. The last point is it's still the unicorn. It's that mythical point that is rarely awarded. The key thing here is complex understanding. You've got to show that you truly understand this topic, that you know your stuff. You got to put more than enough detail and extra evidence in there. You've truly got to go above and beyond. They give you these bullet points over here to the side to kind of explain things that you can do to get it. This is pretty vague, honestly. Still read it over. But honestly, try to produce a rock-solid essay. The good thing is on the AP exam, on all the essay stuff that we're going to do moving forward, it's all open book, it's all open note, it's open internet. So, organize your stuff before you get started. And, some of the details at least you could theoretically be able to look up. Your actual DBQ essay, and I don't want you to get intimidated, guys. It's not that bad. It's 5 documents. Plus, as you know, this 6 weeks, potentially the rest of the semester is pass-fail. And honestly, as long as I see a good effort, you're going to pass. Do the best you can. If you do that, I think you're going to be in good shape. This is about, practicing, continuing to hone your writing abilities, and also, practicing some time management. So your DBQ is right here. Again, it's the same file, distance learning. You've got the Unit 1 DBQ 2020 version. It's in Word and PDF. So choose the one that works for you the best. Again, let's go ahead and pull this up real quick. Here as your topic. Again, 45 minutes. Let's talk about that real quick. Previously, you were supposed to get an hour for a DBQ. Now they're saying 45 minutes because it's less documents. I am not going to time this. You do what you need to do time-wise, but I would highly encourage you, try to do it in 45 minutes. I would say at the most an hour. Again, you really need to be pressuring yourself. You really need to be trying to adhere to those time limits, if at all possible. In the future, because we are going to do more of these leading up to the actual AP exam, yeah, we are going to time them. But for this first one, I really just want you focusing on technique. I don't want you to stress out too much. You got kind of a reminder of the rubric criteria at the beginning, and then you have your writing prompt. Using the documents and your knowledge of world history, evaluate the extent to which women exercise power and influence within various societies in Afro-Eurasia during the period of 1200 to 1450. Now, as always, anytime you see a writing prompt in AP, really any class, it's going to look confusing at first. But if you start to break it down, it's usually not that bad. You can print this up, you can do it on the computer, it's whatever. But I always like to underline or highlight the dates I like to underline or highlight the geographic area. That way I can kind of set my mind right as to, areas I need to focus on, time periods I need to focus on. And then I look at the actual meat of it, evaluate the extent to which women exercise power and influence within various societies. So in these documents, you're going to see different situations of women maybe being powerful, maybe being influential, maybe not. A lot of it is based on your interpretation. But based on what you read, you will take from that the material you need to form an argument, to form your thesis on. For me, keep it relatively simple, but be somewhat detailed, and make sure that you're catering to the prompt. Don't just copy the prompt for your thesis, but it's not bad to say, during the period of 1200 to 1450 in Afro-Eurasia, women exercise power and influence greatly or not much at all, such as, doing this, this, and this. Again, that's a pretty solid, basic, but solid structure for your thesis statement. My advice, with this time limit, you got 45 minutes. Like I said, try to adhere to that. Spend the first 10 minutes just reading the documents and planning. Just like we did in class, read the documents. I would recommend, maybe writing a little note for each document. Hey, in this particular document, how are women exerting power and influence? And then maybe if you see something that you might be able to use for the CAP process, something that you see maybe in the source about point of view or context or whatever, maybe jot down a few notes. That way you kind of know what documents you want to attempt to do that on. But read through the documents, make your notes, spend about 10 minutes doing that, and then, write this essay. The essay itself, I would like you to turn into the assignments tab. Let's go back to that. So ideally for pretty much all of our assignments, and I know I'm kind of repeating myself, but, it's all good. You come down to the files tab, you download the document, you work with it. Maybe you save it in certain situations, probably not in this one. Maybe you don't, but then you go up to assignments, you click on the particular unit, and then at the bottom, you will have an option to submit. You can submit it through a file upload. You can copy and paste stuff directly into a text box that's provided. I will say, though, I highly encourage you to turn it in here. If this does not work for you, by all means, email it to me. Let me know that you're having problems. That's fine. But it really helps me. It really helps me keep track of things if everything's in the same spot. If you have any questions on this, please email me. Let me know what's going on. Again, I really feel like communication is key. And again, just a reminder, all these things that we're doing right now in my class, the Unit 2 Networks of Exchange assignment, and of course the DBQ essay that we've been talking about, they are for grades. They are going to be your 2 last grades of the 6 weeks, so please make sure you get them done. Networks of Exchange assignment, what you've hopefully been working on, not due until next Tuesday the 14th. DBQ is due next Friday. Just remember though, next Friday is the end of the 6 weeks. We need to get these in. We need to get any assignments that you're missing thus far, especially the ones that we did at school before spring break, in before then as well. Again, hopefully, if you have any questions, you'll contact me. And hope you guys are staying safe and, enjoy your weekend. And if you need anything, please, by all means, let me know.